I had someone kind of try to challenge me because we brand ourselves as employee focused sort of brand, not this like customer focused brand where customer's always right. It's just not true. We service 500 addresses, 600 addresses a year, with 20 guys. So I have way more customers than I have guys. So I'm going to focus on my guys.
But when you started to do a little bit of research, no competition, high demand, a lot of homes, kind of felt like there was a gap in the market that you could take advantage of?
Better Basements was born mostly out of, almost entirely out of just market need. It's not like I had this big dream to be a basement waterproofer.
Welcome to Future Driven. I'm Adam Lejenkop, and on this podcast, we talk about challenges and wins in business. See the vision, drive the future. All right, welcome to episode 55 of the Future Driven podcast with Dylan Milroy. Dylan, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. So we recently connected through some mutual friends and looking forward to seeing all the great marketing that you are working on. But tell us a little bit. So I guess I failed to introduce that you are from Better Basements and Waterproofing, your business. Where are you based, Dylan?
We are in Portland, Oregon. We have recently gotten quite a bit bigger in Eugene, which is about an hour and a half south. We had a failed attempt to break into Seattle this last year. We might try to hit it again, but really we're a name in Portland.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, love Oregon. I was just at the Trails Blazers game. So, they won. It was a fun and exciting game.
Oh, wow. That doesn't happen often. That's good.
That's what everybody was saying.
Don't get used to it.
Cool. Well, before we dig into Better Basements and what you're doing today, and obviously now only a little bit about the new markets that you're going to break into, but give us a little bit about your background, kind of career, professional background. Give us a little bit about Dylan.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was in the Marines. That was one of my first big boy jobs. Before I got into the Marine Corps, I was in construction of some sort. My dad grew up on a small farm in Kansas, and we always had land. So, you're always doing something with your hands sort of thing too. And then when I got out of the military, I got back into construction, but actually I jumped into commercial construction as an electrician. And then a friend of mine was doing some pretty impressive home builds and remodels for a very large, well-known firm in San Diego. He's like, "Hey, you want to get into management, project management?" I was like, "Absolutely." And then kind of, the rest is history. I've more or less always been in some sort of blue collar management / trades myself for a long time. And then Better Basements was born mostly out of almost entirely out of just market need. It's not like I had this big dream to be a basement waterproofer. It was my business partner's co-owner, who's a very close friend of mine. He's in retail real estate, so he does by retail I mean he works with homeowners. Okay. Most guys who say they're in real estate in our world, it means they're in development or something like that. But he's right. In retail real estate. He calls me one day and he's like, "Hey, I got this bid," and it was for some drainage at his house. He's like, "What do you think of it?" I was like, "Yeah, it sounds like you're getting ripped off, sucks to suck." and he was like, "Well, dude, I get these bids," and he's big. He sells a lot of houses. He's like, "Dude, I get these bids multiple times a week. This is normal." He's like, "And if I were to call them right now, they probably wouldn't be able to do it for 3 months." And he's like, "So you want to start a drainage company?" And I said, "Let me think about it." And, within, I think 2 or 3 weeks, we had our license and we're off to the races.
Nice. So what year was it that you established?
It'll be 3 years and about a month.
Okay, great. Congrats.
Yeah. So it's been a quick growth. When we started, we said we wanted to be huge. We said we wanted it to be big. So there was never any of these like kind of these half measures that a lot of guys who have been in the trades for a long time. They start their own company, then they stress about, buying more trucks. They stress about we're just like, nope, let's do it. Keep going, you know? So it's that's kind of been a lot of the answers to, why we've kind of felt like we've blown up so quickly.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions was how does one get into basements and waterproofing? But you already answered that. But tell us a little. So sounds like market fit. So you had an opportunity, you had an in, but when you started to do a little bit of research, what no competition, high demand, a lot of homes, kind of felt like there was a gap in the market that you could take advantage of.
A check in most of those boxes, partial check in some of them. So I would say that the competition in this area they're massive. There's really, we really are. I would say we probably are the third largest waterproofer now in Portland, Oregon now. And our two largest competitors are like nationwide large, and they're part of this network, and
Yeah.
they have to install this like proprietary thing that's total. I I'm pretty open about it being a total scam, and that's how most of our marketing is aimed towards. So there, when I look at other markets to go into, because we do fully intend to go into other markets in other states, we want to see those specific types of those specific businesses in general there, because I have all the marketing to go against them. And we also want to see kind of like our competitors who are good and who are doing right by their customers and doing good work. They're man in a truck sort of operations. And even still, there's probably three of them, two of them. So it's a pretty ripe opportunity. We were just in Kansas last week, Kansas City, doing training for some foundation lifting training, and I was there, so I might as well do some market research. There's something like 80, 85 guys doing. It's like it would be a
Wow.
horrible place to get into. Be a smart
Yeah.
place to go into if you have some private equity, going to wipe everyone out. But it's gonna be a bad place to go, like start up shop.
So in the state of, or what does the Pacific Northwest look like? How many in Oregon? How many in Washington, Idaho?
Yeah, there's less than 10 of us in Portland, in
Yeah.
Oregon. I would say, yeah, less than 10, and I would say probably five of us that five of us will be around in 10 years, sort of thing, maybe four. Um, Seattle is a little similar. The difference in Seattle to Portland that I noticed is that in Portland, my reputable competitors, they do great work, and I send people to them. They're good. In Seattle, the people who aren't a part of that network that I was referring to, they suck. But it's a we had a hard time breaking in there just because the distance was just inconvenient enough. It was just inconvenient enough that I didn't have the energy or the money to send guys up there. Eugene is a lot better for us. It's a similar demographic. It's about an hour closer than Seattle is. It's easier for silly things like taxes, payroll taxes, all that kind of stuff because it's the same state. Uh,
Right.
so we can at least do the proof. We can at least take our SOPs and plan it, which is what we're doing, and it's been great. We did no houses in Eugene for the last 3 years, and I think we're doing 6 this month. So
So break down a little bit of exactly what it is that you do. Now, I live up in Seattle, Pacific Northwest. I don't have a basement, but
mm-hmm.
my crawl space needs your services.
Yep, we do crawl
So,
space.
what are you mostly doing basements or crawl spaces, and break down a little bit of what people are hiring you for and why they should hire you.
Yeah, in terms of revenue, yes, we mostly do basements. In terms
Okay.
of addresses served, homeowners serves, no, we mostly do crawl spaces. We are definitely known for basements. Most of our marketing is aimed towards basements, because it's a higher ROI and the clicks are cheaper, so it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Crawl spaces, there's more competition, and there's more competition that does good work. And the reason why it's hard to differentiate yourself, I would say, is that It's not photogenic. It's not glorious. And people kind of seem to forget about once it's done. Whereas, basement is a pretty top of mind thing.
Yeah.
It's not like a new kitchen where they're going to talk about it, but they might be excited about it for a while. You know,
Yeah, and so you're waterproofing it, you're protecting the foundation, and then are you also doing some build out as well, or just the?
Yeah, actually, I didn't even answer your question. Yeah, so waterproofing is just soil dry out, soil saturation. Your crawl space, your basement only gets dry because the soil saturated. No, there is no other reason on the planet. If your soil's dry, your basement won't get wet. Um, so we for crawl space, for instance, our guys will go down there. They'll do a really good clean out, get everything out that's not attached to the house, and then if it's wet, they'll do a deep trench around the whole perimeter in the crawl space. So in the Northwest, we have a high water table, and then we dig down for the foundation, so you create a false water table. So then you're digging a trench that lowers the false water table, and all that ends at a pump with the French drain and the new plastic down. Super, very, very hard work, very backbreaking work, but super easy concepts. Very easy to guarantee. That's the nice thing about waterproofing is you once it's done, you can sleep pretty soundly knowing you're not going to get a call back unless something happens, which it does happen. But it's very easy to guarantee if you just do it the right way. But the right way is very, very is hard.
Well, you just mentioned hard work, and what is your that is a lot of hard labor, especially in the crawl spaces, things like that. What is your secret to recruiting guys, keeping the crews happy? Kind of what's your methodology there?
Thank you for asking. I would say it's probably my strong suit outside of I would say marketing. I think guys, and I was in their shoes just a couple of years ago, and sometimes it feels like I still am. I think most blue collar guys, they just want someone to paint a little vision for them and someone to give them the tools to succeed and just feel appreciated. I had someone kind of try to challenge me because we brand ourselves as employee focused sort of brand, not this like customer focused brand where customer's always right. It's just not true. We service 500 addresses, 600 addresses a year, with 20 guys. So I have way more customers than I have guys. So I'm going to focus on my guys.
Yep.
And someone was like, well, if you say you're employee focused, but you don't have these things like, he's mentioning like employee of the month. I'm like, dude, these are 30-year-old. They don't care about that. Like, they don't want their face on the website. They want they want to use the nicest tools. They want to be home at a consistent time. They want direct feedback, and they want to see that there's an opportunity for them to not be busting their butt through their 40s. So that's how we do it. We are big on our core values, and we on our whiteboard in like our shop, it says positions that are coming up, management positions that are coming up, an idea of pay, an idea of what it looks like. We we give them pretty healthy review bonuses. Buy their boots, steel toe boots are $250. Things like that.
Yep.
That's what guys care about. They showing up and not treating them like a child, treating them like a child goes a long way.
Yeah, well, that's a huge part of any business, and so that's great that you've to be able to dial down exactly what they want. Direct feedback, they give you direct feedback, and then that creates that opportunity. So let's talk a little bit about marketing because you said you're strong in culture, but you're stronger in marketing. So what's your secret success there? Kind of what have you been doing? What works? What do you plan to do coming up? Give us a little bit of that.
Everything. With home services, if there's a lead funnel, you got to be on it, or you have to be willing to be on it. You got to try it, and you got to track it.
Yeah.
My secret to marketing is kind of my secret to management and business to everything is you need to surround yourself by by experts, by someone who is obsessed with that specific thing. You put me in contact with Austin at Rocketer. That guy's obsessed with social media leads, uh, specifically. Very, very, very impressive.
Yep.
Uh, and he's not he's not he's not going to tell you that he's the best at writing copy. He's not going to tell you he's the best at doing videos, but he's going to build those funnels. He's going to A/B test them. He's going to give you ideas on creative, right? And I feel the same way kind of about my click campaign guy. I realize, he's he sucks at social media marketing. I don't I don't care if he thinks otherwise. It's not very good. And so I manage those. I just keep those aces in their places. I manage them. I ask for same way I manage my labor. I have very specific KPIs I want to see. I want to be just I want to be an expert just enough to be dangerous. I don't need to
Yep.
go in there change the campaigns, but we need to keep everyone honest, or not that they're going to steal from you, but it'll definitely campaigns can run away from you. So we are now getting really serious about our retargeting efforts, with pixel tracking, with scraping some data off the MLS. I have some TV ads running with a pixel through Tatari now. So if you're on my website for a certain amount of time and you click a certain links, then you'll start seeing my TV ads. Um, but the bread and butter is taking the web presence seriously. That way, it's highly searchable. That way, it's highly usable. Tons of calls to action. Very clear message. Very clear brand that is seen through all platforms. All pretty to you, someone pretty textbook, pretty 101. But it seems to be I destroyed the web looking for a foundation or waterproofing company or most home service companies with a web presence that like I thought was good to like essentially rip off, and none of them I were very impressive. So we just started from scratch, and
Yeah.
it's been great.
Well, that's great. And as you mentioned, and as you know, marketing is a constantly moving
Correct.
thing. And so you're trying new things, you're measuring everything, and it sounds like you're a very data driven company. So that not only with your guys and your performance, but then also your marketing spend, and how it all connects, right?
Yeah, and you have to have, if you have someone like Austin and you have someone like Les, my business coach, I don't know what his relation was, you probably a friend,
Yep.
and he's a business coach to home service contractors, and more specifically roofing. But he has that idea. He knows what these goals are. He knows what's obtainable, and you can't be. I love working with people who have found their niche because now you know what's obtainable. Like it's like you could Google what a click through rate is. What is an impressive click through rate? And most of it's going to be for e-commerce. They're going to say 5%. If you have 5% in the home service industry, you suck at marketing. It's like it's you,
Yeah.
but it's you. So it is important to have the niches. I have really found, and I really think is important. You're going to save yourself a whole lot of headache.
Oh yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about your markets and everything. So you're in Portland, you're in the state of Oregon, but you
Mhm.
had mentioned 2025. Where are you looking to expand as you look to grow?
Yeah, I'm looking to expand services. So I thought, well, Eugene, yes, I want Eugene. I want to blow Eugene up. Um, I thought that we should be trying to get into other markets like Utah, Montana, like out of state markets remotely. But recently, I've decided that we need to be getting into commercial sort of stuff more seriously, getting into some sort of recurring revenue. So we were in Kansas last week because we were getting certified to install helical piles for underpinning houses. If you know what that is,
No.
you drill down in the earth. Most of your large foundation companies like MATV Foundation Repair, up there who just got bought by Groundworks. That's where they make most of their money. So you expose the footer of the foundation, drill down into the earth. Around here, it's about 40 feet with a big pipe that has a screw pile on it, and then you attach it to the footer, and you put those all around the house, and then you can lift the house with
Okay.
hydraulics
Yeah.
to get it restored. It's We were kind of afraid to do it, not afraid, but cautious about getting into it. And we were just, I mean, I've been sending 50, 100 leads a month out for calls to it. The funnel is very, very similar for it. And now we're at a place where, I'm very confident that our crews, we're the best waterproofers around. So we can throw something else in the mix. The margins are impressive. It's very obtainable. It's also my favorite thing about waterproofing is that the results are highly guaranteeable, and it's the same thing with this. It's a very guaranteed, very instant outcome, which is fun.
Yeah. So then expanding services, not necessarily markets, but then eventually some more markets. What does the next 5 to 10 years look like for you?
Yeah, I would like to expand more. I think right now, and this is a living thing in my head, because if you would have asked me a week ago, I would say heck no. But we went out to that class, and there is a big need for this in the commercial space. These helical manufacturers they want to sell steel. They want to sell the product. So they go out, they make relationships with these big builders. They put this stuff under nuclear power plants and under boardwalks, all these massive, massive products where you might be installing helicals for 3 months, right?
Yeah.
But there aren't enough people who are willing to absorb the cash flow, or willing to pay the insurance, willing to take on the liability. Um, I am. I guess I'm just young and crazy. So I think that's where it's at. Because in most states you can get licensed pretty easily. So if you take a job somewhere, you just get licensed and you get put your ducks in a row, sort of thing.
So right now you're 100% residential.
No, we definitely have everything aimed towards homeowners, but
Yeah.
we do some pretty cool projects, some pretty big projects in the commercial space.
Nice.
Mostly apartment complexes, lots of apartment complexes. But yeah,
And are you liking that side of the business, or is it nice to have a bit of balance of both, or kind of where do you lean on that side?
yeah, it depends. There's nothing better than a good homeowner, an appreciative homeowner. But uh, so that's not always the case.
I'm
Uh,
I'm a little
so
bit I'm a little bit biased, or is a selfish question, or that I'm targeting here. But with a crawl space, how often should you be addressing it? I mean, you said earlier that if it's done right, it should last a really long time,
forever. Yeah, your
forever.
vapor barrier 30 years, your drainage 100 years, a pump every 7 years. Uh, you know, you should hop under there once a year,
Yeah,
check the pump, sort of thing. So that's kind of what we launched recently. Is we were not offering any service programs, not doing anything. We were just kind of focusing on the installation,
yeah.
and now we're doing service as a recurring revenue. Uh, so that's, but I tried to introduce that, a year ago. And when I was introducing the program, I was using the same margins, the same outcome for install. And that's the wrong way to look at it. Now we're giving it away. You get for $90, you get 2 years of service. And it's about staying in front of the homeowner. It's about not letting them forget. It's about keeping trucks out there. It's about the upsell, showing up and seeing if they want something else.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the model we're going to. We call it. Uh, it's common in the plumbing world, where you spike the job. Someone calls for a quote and they need it. Oh, my water heater's broken. Get a quote, and you show up. You're like, oh, I actually could do this right now. And you just do it right there. They
Yeah.
cancel all their other quotes. It's kind of a newer thing in waterproofing where you spike the job. So that's kind of what we're trying to set up for. where we have technicians who are highly trained on sales, and they're prepared to go out there and jackhammer someone's floor up and drop a temporary sump basin in there and give them a bid on the spot and just spike the job.
Nice.
It'll cut down the sales funnel pretty majorly.
Yeah, and then giving people immediate service right away is going to be huge.
Massive. I talking about keeping all the smart people around you. So I I stole it's a totally stolen idea from this guy. His name is Steve Andrus. He'd be a great guy to talk to. He's the CEO of Great Products. He was at one point he was the largest basement systems contractor in North America, and he realized that it was a joke, and he canceled and started his own thing. His business has been around 40 years. I think they do about 12 million in basements, no advertising, and they have no salesmen. All they do is advertise sump pump services. They show up, oh, your basement's leaking, and they have a salesman who's prepared to begin the waterproofing job. And the homeowner they have, I think last time I talked to him, he had 7,000 appointments, service appointments scheduled for the next year. And he schedules them a
Wow.
year in advance. Yeah, really cool.
Crazy. Never would have thought so much in basements.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Keep it a
there's a
secret,
lot of
please.
homes out there. And everybody wants to protect their home. It's usually one of their number one assets.
Yes, it is.
So, well, that's awesome. Well, Dylan, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was great to learn a bit more about you, and look forward to seeing your business grow and come up to here in Seattle so I can get you on that subscription service because I've not been underneath my house for a couple of years. So, you know,
We got our license up there. If you want me to send someone, I'll do it.
all right, I like that. Sounds good. Well, thanks again, Dylan. Thanks for coming on the show.
Pleasure.